What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. I am so excited for today's guest. Guys, I talked about us wanting to do more for giving back to the community this year. And my friend Marissa, as you guys know, told me about the F.R.E.S.H project. And if you don't know about them, please go check them out immediately as soon as you listen to this podcast on social media and check out the amazing things they're doing. And before we get started, you guys know I like to start with a quote. And today we'll start with changing else's life, positively changes your life for the better as well. So doing good is good for you as well. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Cliche and Avena with F.R.E.S.H project. Thank you, ladies, so much for taking the time and coming on. I know you guys have a regular job as well, in addition to working on this project. So thank you guys so much for being on.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
having
having us.
us. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having us.
I'd like to really honestly, I can't believe I never even knew of this project whatsoever. Like I'd never even heard of it. I didn't even know it existed. So I was kind of like, again, disappointed. I was like, what? Like, why isn't anybody else talking about this? Like, why aren't we getting, when Marissa
Right.
told me about it, because we were talking about people going homeless right now, the working homeless. We had this whole conversation about that. I said, Marissa, we have to do something this year. She goes, oh my God, I need to connect you with the F.R.E.S.H project. She's like, you should see what they're doing. I was like, let's do it. It was amazing to see how much you guys do out there. Like all the food you guys, and is your group big or is it small?
So it's small. It's really just Cliche and I that, run the F.R.E.S.H project itself. However, we do partner with other nonprofits and other organizations that work with the homeless to, put on events. Like on Mondays, we do Monday feeds where we go out and feed the homeless every Monday a hot meal with under Keep Moving Ministries, and we provide the waters. So Pastor Evie with Keep Moving Ministries brings food, hot food, and we provide the waters for the homeless every Monday. So that's one of the things that F.R.E.S.H does. But in regard to just F.R.E.S.H events and our specific products, it's me and Cliche. So
Wow,
yeah.
you guys take on a lot because that's a lot to do for a whole community. You know what I'm saying? For two people to try to take over that. Tell us a little bit about how you guys got started initially. How did you guys bring about this program? Because what I saw on your Instagram was this project is also in other states, right? F.R.E.S.H is also in other places, but you guys created it here for the Houston area. Is that correct?
You want to take that, Shay, or?
Oh, sure. So the F.R.E.S.H project is the name of our project, our organization here in Houston.
Got it.
However, there are multiple social groups and organizations across major cities that have taken on the project. So the project originated with a nonprofit out of LA County called Lavame. And when they first kind of rolled out the introduction of a mobile hygiene unit or a mobile shower trailer, it was a retrofitted Metro bus. And so, with LA County having the largest homeless count in the US, they would take that bus out to those like Skid Row areas where, individuals needed showers. So when they started the project, they created a website and a platform for other individuals in other cities to mimic the model that they had. So they had a group, I guess, a group social area where you can go in and meet other individuals in your major city to see if you wanted to join together to do a project.
Okay.
And so that's how me and Abena met. With some other individuals, we were like, hey, we want to take on this challenge. We want to do it in Houston. And, we want to shower the homeless and give them opportunities to kind of transition out of homelessness. And then, you start the project and you realize, okay, every major city has its challenges.
Yeah.
So we're navigating through those challenges to, offer the opportunity to the homeless in Houston. And, especially right now with COVID, it's highly important that, they're able to have access to the hygiene unit.
Yeah.
And what you just said, it's hard to kind of like help everybody, right? When you're out there, because there's so many, and attacking homelessness is so hard.
Right.
What have you found is the biggest challenge as you guys are out there feeding homelessness, feeding people who are homeless, and, just actually finding where the need is more? Because I assume everything's the need, but how do you like focus on one first, and then it's like the next thing, and then it's like the next thing, because there's so much that goes into being homeless, whether it be mental illness, whether it be addiction, whether it be that you lost your job here just recently because of the pandemic and you're just kind of working, living out of your car, So how do you guys approach how you're going to help, or where you're going to help first? Like, how do you attack that?
Yeah. Kind of like how you just said, it's important to realize, figure out what the need is. But I think what we found is focusing on, just reaching out and building that rapport first, meeting the people, going out there and making those connections and figuring out where we can serve. So like, we're looking to have a mobile shower unit where people can shower and get fresh. And from there, we have to fundraise. We don't have the money to build the trailer. So like you said, we have to focus in and do what we can now while, we fundraise and things like that. So going out to feed, and sometimes when we feed with the other organizations, I'll get on the mic and ask, well, first, let me back up. So FRESH is an acronym, and it stands for Finding Resources Everywhere and Spreading Hope. That's on my shirt, so I'm kind of like, so with that, our big thing is to make sure that we're connecting people to resources to get them outside of homelessness, to help build, self-efficacy and productivity. So like I was saying, sometimes we'll go out on the mic, or I'll get on the mic when we're feeding and ask, like, what are some resources you guys need to get off of the street so we don't have to see you here next Monday. Sometimes people say, well, I need bus passes because I'm trying to get to my job all the way out here, or, I moved over. A lot of people moved. I realized a lot of people in downtown come from areas I came here from Indianapolis and for something and it didn't work out. And now I'm still here. And, but back in Indianapolis, I was, a carpenter and I was really good at this. Can you connect me with people like that? And so, those are kind of ways that we focus in on the need and help to, fundraise, but still building these connections and helping people. Or like one time we had a guy, he's a veteran and he's homeless, but there's so many veteran resources out there that people aren't aware of. So, I got on the mic, I asked, he was like, well, I'm a veteran, I need somewhere to live. And I was like, well, you should have access to some resources. We were able to connect him. And either way, he was able to get housing through the Veteran Affairs. So just being able to find resources everywhere, connect people to them, and start small, because, the trailer, if we just sit and wait on that, we're not helping anybody in the meantime. So
I have a question for you guys.
And I just want to piggyback off of what she just said. So, and like she said, it's important that you get out into the community and really understand who you're servicing, because, what we realized being out there is there are many different types of homelessness. And you have the homeless individuals that have no ambitions of removing themselves from homelessness. And, they'll take what they can get while it's out there. Then you have the others that were one paycheck away from being homeless, and they're trying to, get back on the path of getting housing, finding a job, maybe they need legal resources and things like that. So what we've had the opportunity to do is do a lot of research and build a lot of relationships with like the Harris County homeless outreach team, the HOT team, or the Beacon, which is a day shelter, or even the Coalition for the Homeless. And so when we are out and we hear of the needs, we're able to connect them to the resources.
That was my next question. Is the city of Houston not involved? Do they not do anything to help out? And the reason why I asked that is the other day as I live in Third Ward, Houston, so there's a lot of homelessness that happens within my area, and I just always like, it's funny, every time I drive by a homeless person, I always sit there and tell my husband, I was like, why isn't there a solution for this? Like, why haven't we found a solution? Why do we just keep pushing them somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Pushing them to another corner and another corner, giving them tents. Why hasn't there? And I know it's so hard to say, why haven't we, right? Or why hasn't the city, or why? I know that's easier said than done, but it's like when I was watching that documentary online, it was speaking about homeless in Venice Beach in California. And they said one of the issues that they have is that because the city doesn't make any money out of helping homeless individuals, they don't really want to participate in building facilities or, you know what I'm saying, actually attacking. For example, the example she gave was, they have a location where you can go and live, but if you live there, you no longer can obviously leave and do drugs. You know what I'm saying? You're there because you're trying to get the rehab and they're trying to help you. Some people choose to live there and still be on the street so that they can still do the drugs, but still get the help. Like you mentioned before, you know what I'm saying? Just some people don't want to really just not be homeless anymore. They just want to take. And what she said is that the city considers that successful because they've at least kept them halfway in, like as if they helped. And then the other half of them is like out on the street. And I just don't understand why we haven't as a city like legit addressed it. Like why haven't they been out there to solve it? And why aren't they helping organizations like yourself?
So
a lot.
The city does have an initiative. I'm not going to say that they don't. They do. The initiative that the city has is that they're using majority of their funds to actually go towards housing. So any government funds that come to the city in the matter of helping, the homelessness matter, goes directly to housing. Their goal is to literally get people off the street into housing. So any of those supplemental resources that, we would be considered one, like an outreach group, the money doesn't really trickle down all the way to us because they don't see the return in investing in an organization that is, just feeding or clothing or providing the basic necessities. They want to focus more on actually finding housing or creating housing and getting people off the streets. That's their goal. They have a center. When we first got together and started doing our research, there was funding going towards a center that was going to have everyone kind of housed in one building, because one thing that you have to understand about the city of Houston is that majority of the homeless resources are in downtown. And with Houston expanding and trying to rebuild downtown, they want to get those resources out of downtown. And that's why you see, quote unquote, like the homeless people getting pushed out of downtown. They're redeveloping downtown, but the city is building a resource center for all of those resources to just be located in one area. Last time we checked, I'm not sure when it's going to be done, but that's their focus. Another thing we have to understand is you have the city of Houston and Harris County. There's a large population of homelessness in the city metropolitan area, city of Houston, but there's an even larger population in Harris County. It's the second largest population of homeless people in Harris County that really don't get resources at all because, like I said, majority of the resources are downtown. So, what we tried to do, we've been to the Capitol, to the mayor's office to talk about what we're trying to do. And, we get the green light. Yeah, we support it. Go for it. If you need any licenses or any permits, let us know. But as far as the funding, the priority goes to housing.
But what does housing actually do besides obviously taking them off the street? Like, are they actually addressing everything? You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to house them, but are they actually assisting with other resources? Like, do they have a therapist? Do they have a psychologist there? Do they have, like somebody that's doing like drug rehab? Are they showing them how to write resumes? You know what I'm saying? How to like be a functioning member of society, because if you're obviously on drugs, it's like now it's a process. Now we're gonna have to help with the drug issue first, then we're gonna have, they're gonna have to help with getting them, like teaching them how to get back to the working force and so forth. So what is the goal with the facility, do you know?
So the facility is supposed to have all of those resources there.
Okay.
Not sure if they'll have enough to meet the demand that comes with trying to fight the cause, but it's meant to have all of those resources there, because what we have to understand is there's a large group of nonprofit organizations that focus on the homeless demographic, and they're all a part of the coalition, the Houston Coalition for the Homeless. And so there's many nonprofits that offer various services, like you just said, and they're out there. And I think, like Abena said, it's getting people to understand, like, hey, those resources are out there. Let's get you connected, because they may just not know about it at all, or they attempted on their own once before and it was too complicated for them and they got frustrated. And so they just stopped going to get the resources. So I'm not going to say that they're not out there. I think there's like a missing piece, which is that middleman to help guide people in transition. Because, with anything, if you get frustrated with something and you just quit, I think a lot of people get frustrated with the process and then they just quit and then they're back at square one.
Yeah. It makes completely sense. And it was crazy because right there off of Wheeler and I guess that would be 59 area. I mean, it was like full of homeless there. They just disappeared one day. And I was like, this is weird, And I guess because I used to always give to this one specific guy and I haven't seen him since. Well, I was far. I was like all the way down to Richmond and I don't know where. And I said, he's deaf. So, and I speak sign language. So I'm like asking him, like, hey, what are you doing over here? He's like, they moved us out. And I said, who is they? The light turned green. I couldn't have like a conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, who is they? I was like so curious as to who they was. It's like they moved us out. And I was like, but I'm talking about, he was over there for like Richmond and man, it's almost like, what is that street? I guess it doesn't matter, but it was crazy to me at how far he traveled from that area off of Wheeler all the way. I mean, I know Wheeler turns into Richmond, but it was further down, to where it was like, he's like, no, they moved us out. I was like, and then I kept driving, and then now on the feeder, I see more of the tents happening. And it's like, wait, do y'all think that just giving them tents is the solution? I'm not understanding this tent thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this, giving them tents. I get it. It's to keep them like in somewhere. It's cold, and some days it's like, it's freezing out there. And all you can think about is like, gosh, where do they go? You know what I'm saying? How are they keeping warm? And it's like, they have like, what we do sometimes is like any of the merch that we have left over, right? That didn't sell, like any sizes that didn't sell. When it's cold, we'll just kind of get them all together and we'll just kind of find whoever we can find and just kind of give them a hoodie because it's like cold out there, and I'm just like, what's happening? Why are we just pushing them out? You're just pushing them out because we're making downtown prettier. I get it. You're remodeling. I get it. But where's the real solution here? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, that's my question. Like, where's the real solution here? Pushing them out is not a solution. You're just kind of like, it's almost like sweeping it under the rug. That's all we're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not really solving anything, if that makes sense, which is why I was asking, like, why isn't the city doing more? You know what I'm saying? I know there's got to be money there for them to actually work on fixing. Like, is it like if you make a facility just for people who need to recover from drugs, someone who is like, for example, the whole working homeless, like, is there a place where they can go until they get off their feet and, you know what I'm saying, and able to kind of just go back into the world, you know? It's like, have you guys found that there's just really no solution except for to how to fix it, but rather how to help it? Is that how you guys have tried to approach this more so?
Well, we don't necessarily just try to, because it's not just a fixing, like you said,
Right.
it's not just anything you just go in there and fix, but it's, to me, or to Fresh, we feel that it's really helping people find a way out of homelessness. Like you said, a tent, giving hoodies is helpful because it is cold out there and we are humans and they are sleeping out there. But at the same time, what I think the city could do in regard to helping would be to help unify all of these organizations, nonprofit organizations that provide all the same services. If we're getting showers and showering people and helping connect them to vocational resources and getting haircuts and, interview clothes and things like that, then we can help, then maybe take them to get legal services and get that record cleared up, get your ID, get you a job, learn a trade. And I think with the city of Houston, like, housing is important and that is one of the basic situations. But like you said, is that housing free? Do they have to pay for it? And if so, how are they going to maintain that? How are they going to maintain themselves outside of homeless or outside of that housing? What about food? What about hygiene stuff? So helping them really become self-sufficient in all aspects of, being an adult, being a human, being a person, especially here in Houston. So yeah, like you said, it's hard pushing people or them setting them out and moving them to a different area is helpful for whatever area they're trying to increase, but you're just literally shifting it over and he's still doing the same thing on the same street, just, much further down, where we could have maybe figured out what his need was. There's a lot of jobs out there for the deaf, where you can, get some type of resources. Or is he getting disability? If he's getting some
Well,
type of
that's what I
disability,
asked him, because I said, why are you out here begging? Because I used to, before I started helping my husband with his managing him, I actually had a job placement agency for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. So I worked out of, our office was out of a deaf church. And so there's a ton of resources for them. So that's why I had asked him, like, why haven't you gone to DARS? Like, why haven't you gone to, apply for SSI, or what's going on? Because you automatically qualify. And he just said, I don't want to. So then I was just like, okay, you don't want to. That's the issue here. It's, you don't want to. It's not like, I guess I gave him the phone number to the church.
No.
I gave him, you know what I'm saying? I told him to go there. Like, I'll give you food. Just go by there. All we need is, for you to stop by. And he said, no, he didn't want to. This was fine. I said, okay, but so I guess it's also a wanting to get the help, right? I guess if he doesn't want to, he prefers to, just be begging for money, then I guess that's what works for him. You know what I'm saying? So, it's true.
And like you said earlier, it takes it back to, okay, well, then what's the real need? Maybe is it substance abuse assistance that he needs? Is there mental health assistance that he needs? Counseling, therapy, so all those resources are really important. And with F.R.E.S.H, that's kind of our niche. That's what we are really wanting to do, is we understand the need of having a collective amount of resources everywhere to help give people hope and to spread understanding of, okay, yeah, I'm out here. Yes, I'm deaf. Whatever happened within my life, how can I find dignity again? How can I find a way out of this? And then, like you said, some people just want to stay on the streets. And if so, then, that's them and they can do that. But there's several people out there that if they were given another opportunity or a resource, things would change. So.
What is the challenge you guys face the most when you guys are out there feeding the community, working with other organizations? What's the biggest challenge you guys have out there?
Well, I mean, I think one of our challenges I feel is the need for other people with expertise, like we said, finding resources. There's so many people who have niches, who have talents, who have skills, who need someone to, help with their business or help with certain things. So giving jobs, someone who could provide trades. Like Cliche said earlier, the need is there. There's people out there that are wanting to be homeless. There are people out there who just got homeless. There's people out there who are couch surfing, not even really noted as homeless, but they don't, have anywhere to live because of COVID or a job. So, just being able to meet the need, but by getting people who are able to provide assistance, provide trade information to help connect people to, welding jobs or, construction, things like that. So I would say that, of course, money, funds, of course. With money, you can do everything. With money, we could solve the world. If the money's in the right person's hands, you could solve everything in the world. So, of course, resources, long-term partnerships, being able to not just have, little donations here and there, but having organizations that can, make a long-term commitment to F.R.E.S.H, a long-term commitment to end homelessness and, help people become productive, help people become, more self-sufficient. Shay, any other things? There's so many.
I would say our biggest challenge that I've seen on our journey of just becoming a nonprofit is that the nonprofit industry is so antiquated and traditional. It doesn't allow for young, innovative, creative-minded individuals to come in and want to say, I want to help, but I want to help in this manner. It doesn't give a platform for that. So then you're out here with 30 other organizations just trying to figure it out because you don't get the support that you need because the system is so outdated. There's been plenty of times where we've applied for grants, that government grants, to help with our project. And it's like, oh, well, on their rating system, we get a 5 out of 100 because we don't have certain criterias that they require. And, of course, those are it ends up going to the bigger nonprofits like the Star of Hope and things like that. Not to say, the Star of Hope does amazing things, but, there are a lot of young individuals that are ready to put their feet to the pavement and really help the cause. But to even just, join the larger groups to have your voice be heard, it's like we're muted. So then you're out venturing on your own, trying to piece it together. And, it hasn't stopped us from volunteering. It hasn't stopped us from building our relationships with resources that will help us when we go out on the streets and meet individuals. Also, we have to understand that even just for me, I wanted to help the homeless population, but I had never interacted with them. So it took me actually having to volunteer more and more, whether it's feeding the homeless or going to the Beacon and, checking them in for various resources to fully understand, what I was getting into. So it was like, I had a hard time truly what I thought the population was is totally different from what I saw. And now that COVID has happened, the demographic has changed even more. And I think we see even more people out on the street because we don't realize how hard they were hit by COVID and how packed the shelters are.
Yeah.
And then realizing that COVID hit the homeless community hard and they had to go somewhere, they couldn't just be out on the streets once they tested positive, and how that has affected the population in general. So there's so many factors going on right now. And, you know, I wish we could do so much more. We take it a day at a time because we're so small of an organization. But, you know, I just wish that we had a voice to more of the traditional nonprofits and organizations and, you know, coalitions so they could
Sure.
really hear us and help us.
With you talking about COVID, how scary was it out there? Have you guys still been out there feeding and so forth, even though you kind of run the risk of someone being infected? Because where do they go? It's not like, you know, if you or I were to catch COVID, we kind of isolate in our home and, you know, we take the medication we need, or, you know, whatever the case may be, you quarantine. But in this case, you know, you're just kind of out on the street. Or do you even know you have it? You know what I'm saying? You're so sick, and I'm sure some of them have other medical issues they're also dealing with on top of getting COVID. So it's like a double whammy here, and it's like, so are they just letting them die out there? I mean, what's you know, like
Well, no. So I was on some of the calls at the beginning stages of COVID, and they were housing positive homeless patients. And it was the HOT team was in assistance with the coalition, and they were housing them in certain motels. They would like reserve a block of rooms, and they were housing them to quarantine them. But I think as it progressed, I can't see how they could continue to do it because there were so many testing positive. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stay on some of the later calls, but in the beginning stages, they were housing them to quarantine them.
Because my whole thing was, when you, as the homeless, go to these shelters, right, especially like families that have to go and sit there first to make sure that they're able to get in before anybody else. If any of them have COVID, I mean, how do you keep everybody separate? You know what I'm saying? To where you're not kind of spreading it. You know what I'm saying? Like, did Star Hope have to take like better precaution when they were letting people in? It's like, were they testing them as they were coming in? I mean, how was that working for that whole situation?
Well, I think every organization had their own resources to deal with it. I know for us, in order for us to go back out and start volunteering again, it took us some time because we did, you know, stay at home and we didn't go out as much. But when we did start going out, you know, we're practicing the 6 feet between the resources in, you know, the person, and wearing gloves and masks. But what we also did is during the time we were waiting to go back out and volunteer, we were collecting donations of hand sanitizer and mask and wipes, and we were creating hygiene kits. So when we did go out, we were passing out hygiene kits for the homeless, and we collaborated with a small church organization to do the what were they? The sinks.
Yeah, Rise Houston with the little mobile hygiene sinks. So, or not mobile, portable hygiene sinks. So you might have seen some across
Yeah, I already
Houston.
see. Yeah, I've seen them right here down the street.
Yeah. And I think we even partnered with Marissa with Juice Caboose and got a sink out there because there are a lot of homeless people in that population. So yeah, definitely. We sponsored our own little hygiene shower or sink unit as well. So yeah, that was definitely helpful. But COVID came crazy, and you would think that with an organization like ours, with the idea to keep people clean, to provide resources to not only keep you clean, but get you outside of homelessness, that when COVID hit, it would be an area for us to, you know, really thrive and really be able to help people and really be able to get people off the streets and keep people clean and keep our COVID rates down. So yeah, but you know, it's just a lot with COVID and trying to make sure that you're practicing safe distancing, you're still doing what you can for your family, but at the same time, not losing sight in your passion to end homelessness.
For sure. I want to get really, to be honest with you, I want to start talking about the mobile shower, because I'd love it if anyone that's listening goes onto the F.R.E.S.H, and guys, they're trying to raise, if I'm not mistaken, $50,000, right? Is that what I saw in there?
Yeah.
And so if we can even all just, if whatever little you have, whether it be $1, $5, $10, guys, for you guys to give, it would make a huge difference. And I think that as you guys, as I'll continue to ask questions, you guys can understand why these showers are important. And then you can see why, it'd be great for everyone to get involved and share the link so that, you can get people to continue to donate so that the goal can be reached. So I do have a couple of questions about the shower, how you guys are going to do this. Obviously, the goal is to create these showers so that it can encourage people to, feel better, get out into the world, find them resources, like you said, clean them up so that they can find legal help or whatever, get an ID, all these things that are also important to get out into the world. When these showers are finally, you guys get it, is it like like almost like a porta potty that comes with like 3 or 5 or 1, or how does that work?
So it's a 3-stall unit. It's actually manufactured locally.
Oh.
It's a 3-stall unit. It has the shower, the sink, the toilet within each stall. One is an ADA accessible stall.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically the money that's being raised is to cover the truck and the trailer. And once we're able to do that, we can go to different sides of the city. There are some nonprofit organizations that do provide showers, even like the shelters, but you have to understand the shelters are at capacity. Mm-hmm. So once they're at capacity, then you leave the population that's still out there with no resource. Mm-hmm. And then you have places like the Beacon that's a day center, mm-hmm. but there's certain days of the week that they're not open. So they don't have those services available. Mm. So we're trying to get the trailer to meet those needs that can't be met from either the day shelter or just the shelters in general. Mm-hmm. It gives us the opportunity to go on different sides of the city, which I said before, you have a big population in the metropolitan area, but then outside, like off of 1960, there's another big population that has very limited resources. So the trailer
They're
just
going
gives
that
us
far
that
out?
opportunity.
1960?
Yes, that far out. Also, it gives the opportunity to get those volunteers out there that have certain expertise. So if we're providing showers, if you know a beautician or a barber, they can come cut hair, they can come style hair. If you have a social group that collects clothes, they can come and bring the clothes out while we're doing the showers, to provide alternate clothing for the individuals that are out there. That's why we need so many more volunteers that have expertise in different areas, because once we get this trailer up and going, there's definitely an opportunity for them to come in and help give back.
When these showers are set up, how will they be monitored? Is it like, you show up and it's like you're given a certain time? Is it like, how is that whole coordinating, like what time you get to shower, how long you get to be in the shower? Where do you change? Is it somewhere, are you going to have a little area where you can come in with your toiletries and your towel and then you kind of change and get out? How does that all work?
So how it works is we would have volunteers, and the volunteers would help set up, sign people in, make sure that, they're counted, kind of build kind of like a roster of people, have your regulars, people that, that come in, have them sign in, get in line, I guess, for a shower, electronically, and then they would get in there. We are making sure that before even COVID, it was going to be, we clean and sanitize the shower after each use. Mm-hmm. But like Shay said earlier, there's a sink, and a shower in there. So they're able to go in there, do what they have to do, change, get out. We will be providing towels and, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and things like that for them to utilize. And then I think it was 15 minutes we have them in for. And then, there's maybe a little timer, and then just in and out just like that. And then volunteers go in there, sanitize it. And the awesome thing about, the mobile hygiene idea and F.R.E.S.H is, like Cliche had said earlier, it's kind of a blueprint that was made in California with Lava May. So we were able to go out there and kind of see how they did it, watch kind of the process, and they have it obviously down to a science. They're completely supported by the state of California and the city and all of that with their sewage lines and water and all of that. So we can really just, replicate it here once we're able to. So, but yeah, having the volunteers come in there, clean it, it's pretty standard once you get the rotation of it.
But I guess my question was, when they go in to shower, is there a place where they'll is it like a little area on the side where they're able to like change into their new clothes and stuff? Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah. So you want to explain kind of the sizing a little bit more, Shay?
So within each stall itself, there's enough space for the shower, the sink. There's like a rack and a little cubby area, so they're able to change while they're in there. And the ways we have the floors being manufactured, so it's rubber, and so it'll just kind of drain, and then they can just change while they're in there.
Got it. I was curious about how that works and how, the whole system of who gets to go and who doesn't get to go. And then I guess you guys will have to come up with some kind of schedule, like you said, right? Like you'll be here. Is it like for X amount of weeks and then you'll move the shower to another area and then another area? Is that how you guys are going to have to? Because obviously if one is costing $50,000, I mean, you'd have to have several of them to kind of just have them stationary, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it requires partnerships with other brick and mortar organizations.
Okay.
And that's, like I said before, that's what we've been doing in this time that we're waiting to raise the funds, is building those relationships, because it will require us to work with a brick and mortar company or nonprofit, plug into their water line, and say we're there for 3 to 4 hours for that day. And, we're providing so many showers every 15 minutes. And then we go to another location on the other side of town that we've built a partnership with. So once we have those partnerships solidified, then it's just creating a schedule and being able to inform the populations of those schedules we have. And also the HOT team they've also volunteered to say, if you let us know your schedule, we can bus them to you.
Oh, got it. Because that's another issue. How would they get there, right? If anybody, I didn't even think about that part of it. How would they get there if they're on 1960 and you guys are, in another area for the day and they want to get there? So much that goes into just trying to get a 3-stall shower, you know what I'm saying? To help, better the community and, help with homelessness, it's just crazy. Have you guys like partnered with anybody? You know how when you go to the dentist, they always give you like free toothbrushes, free toothpaste or anything like that. Have you guys like reached out to any of those people to start getting like little things ready for when this happens? Because it's going to happen. You guys are going to get this shower.
So we've received a lot of donations already. Bana, if you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I'm sure. We've definitely received a lot of donations already from like other organizations. The Right to Shower has, donated us, I think it was over 100 bars of soap and liquid soap and stuff that we were able to put in our F.R.E.S.H kits, the little hygiene kits that Cliche was talking about earlier. Some of the liquid soaps we were able to refill the stations, the portable hand washing stations. So those are the soaps that we use to refill some of those throughout Houston. So we've been, gotten donations of like right now, actually in our storage, we have some donations that we made, some hygiene kits of like Bath and Body Works, or not Bath and Body Works, bath washes and deodorants, shampoo, conditioner from Unilever, which is I guess the umbrella brand under, Axe and Dove and things like that. But like we were saying earlier, those donations are great and they're awesome, being able to make these hygiene kits, give to people right now. But the tough cookie part is building that long-term partnership that every year we're donating 3,000, towels to you guys from Walmart, or every year, we're getting this amount, so that we have this continued sustainability plan to be able to build these relationships. And like Cliche said, that's why we're trying to connect and network and build these relationships and partnerships to get that long-term support. But yeah, for now, we definitely have so many like deodorants and, we got masks donated one time. We had so many masks that we were able to put in our hygiene kits and hand out to people, and just, to help try and stop the spread of COVID.
Sure. I don't want to take up more of you guys' time. I know we've been on here for about an hour, but just real quick, even if you're not in the Houston area, how can people get involved? Obviously donating, but how else can the community, if you're in the Houston area, how can you come out and help? Like, where can they find like where you guys will be, so that if they wanted to volunteer, they can come join? If they're not able to donate, at least they can donate their time. Can you give us a little bit of how that, how you guys, how the community can get involved?
Yeah. Well, first things first, follow us on social media, get our social media handles, because that's where we communicate. That's where we're able to let you know what's going on, what's new. Of course, the link in our bio can connect you to our website, our promotional videos, our, donation, ports. You can communicate, email us there. Cause like we've been saying the whole podcast, getting access to people who have different niches, different trades, different skills, different talents that they can, that they want to give back to the community. And sometimes volunteering, you can always go volunteer a meal, go volunteer this, but imagine how cool it is to volunteer your talent, something that you love to do, something that you're good at,
Sure.
and helping somebody else learn that. So, social media, spreading the word, talking to other people with us. So letting us know how other people can get involved. Our social media is the F.R.E.S.H Project, HOU, at Instagram, F.R.E.S.H Project on Facebook, F.R.E.S.H Project HOU on Twitter. So
and guys, whenever I always post our guest's picture and so forth, I'll be sure to also put all their social media handles on there, and then that way you can click on their social media and then click on the link, so that you guys can, if you can, donate, so that these showers can happen for so many people that need that need it and that are out there, and sometimes they can't help the situation they're in and they're ready to get out of it, and all this that they're doing is helping just better the community and just, be able to help people get out of being homeless, I really appreciate all the information you guys provided today. I really appreciate the fact that we finally were able to, I was like, Marissa, they're not replying to me. She's like, girl, they're busy. She's like, they have real jobs and they try to run this organization by themselves. So, they're working hard all the time. I said, all right. So that's when I finally was like, give them my number. Let them know, you know what I'm saying? I want to put it out there because, I want to be able to share the link, which I will do, so that people can start donating and helping out any way that they can. If you have any skill, like she said, that you can, bring on and want to donate your skill, then, I'm saying you guys can connect as well. So thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are doing amazing things. And I hope that my small platform is able to bring shed some kind of light on your project. And I am here to help any way I can. So please feel free to reach out whenever. And I will go on there also myself to see where you guys will be at so that, we can do our part in participating as well. So thank you guys so much for being on. Is there anything else you guys would like to say before we end our podcast?
Well, thank you, Marisol, for, giving us this platform to speak about our organization.
Sure.
Like Abena said earlier, we are a 2-woman band. So if you would like to volunteer and be a part of the organization, if you want to help coordinate various events that we want to put together, by all means, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Marissa and I already talked about us reaching out to you guys, so we'll be in touch with y'all. So Marissa and I want to do,
for sure.
So we'll be reaching out for sure. So thank you guys again for being on. I really appreciate your time and keep doing amazing things, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.